Information and Culture, the one and only Hmic, the man who decapitates politics in accordance with the rules of the game. Like Wazir Ibrahim would say, politics without bitterness. But we were not actually we couldn't achieve much. But God, in His own infinite mercy, made the 2015 elections in Nigeria to be a watershed, and indeed an exemplary election that we were all proud of. For the first time, we became candidates. And we also witnessed the sitting president congratulating the opposition candidate even before the official declaration of the results. This was something that has never happened at all in Nigeria, and we felt that there is a need for us to make sure that that forms a solid foundation upon which we must build the kind of democracy that we need to play in Nigeria. We must play democracy as it is being done in advanced democracies. Those people are not having 2 heads and we're having 1 head. We want a situation whereby from now onwards, those who are defeated will congratulate those who won them. But you can only do that if the elections are free and fair. Having spent 16 years of anti-democratic rule in Nigeria, the first time in the history of this country, we feel that there is a need for us to ensure that democracy survives and grows. Never again should we go back to the old situation where democracy never lasted up to more than 1 full term. The First Republic could not witness second term. The Second Republic could not witness second term. But this time around, we have spent 16 good years of anti-democracy. We don't want a situation where somebody will come again and say, fellow Nigerians, I general this or I sergeant this. Never again. Never again. We don't want to do this. As bad as the whole thing has been, as much as we have not democratically achieved our goals, nonetheless, this is a government or democracy is much preferred than any other military regime. The worst democracy, they say, is better than the best military or dictatorship. So therefore, Honorable Minister, we are happy to be here because you are somebody who has actually, you yourself, spent almost all your life fighting for the right kind of politics to place in Nigeria. That's why we are extremely happy to be here today, because we are actually coming to preach to the converted. So therefore, we see your ministry as a natural partner for us to advance the objectives and aims of self-democracy in Nigeria. Today in Africa, we can rightfully say we are leaders of Africa. And indeed, the Africans are also looking up to us to continue building on what we have actually achieved. We have written a paper that we are going to present to you, which will now actually give you full brief of our mission and what we intend to do and what we expect you to do also in this direction. Thank you very much, Honorable Minister, for giving me the order and the opportunity to introduce the main agenda. Thank you very much.
Let me observe all protocols, please. We bring you best wishes on behalf of the Council, Management, and the entire members of Safe Democracies of Africa. We congratulate you for the purposeful and dynamic leadership you are bringing to this important ministry. Of particular importance is your heroic and courageous work of the frontline states of Borno, Yobe, and Adamawa states, currently ravaged by the Boko Haram insurgency. Indeed, you did what no minister before you would have ever contemplated, and thereby gave hope, confidence to inhabitants of these areas, the internally displaced persons, and to the Nigerian military currently waging war against the insurgents in the region. equally implore you, extend our commendation to the President, Commander-in-Chief of the Federal Armed Forces, President Muhammad Buhari, GCFR, for his strong resolve, political will and determination to tackle the many intractable problems that have been plaguing this nation for years. His determined war on terrorism in the Northeast, aggressive fight against corruption, and his methodic handling of the nation's economic and fiscal challenges give credence to his love for this nation. We therefore pray and enjoin him to continue to remain focused and steadfast in steering the ship of the state and in surmounting the many obstacles of statecraft and sustainable development of our nation. As Honorable Minister is already aware, the maiden annual National Political Summit comes up on 25th and 26th of this month, and we members of the National Planning Committee of the Summit feel obliged to visit and to brief you on the efforts made so far in ensuring the successful organization of the summit and to highlight some logistic and media-related impediments which are facing us in ensuring the success of this summit. The Honorable Minister is invited to note that our organization, the Safe Democracy Group Africa, was established in January 2014 as a 1,000-member registered civil organization patterned after the World Economic Forum. The group is made up of patriots, consensus builders, independents, statesmen, trade unionists, and moderates across our political divides. Our vision is to evolve a united, peaceful, and democratic Africa, guided by the principle of equity, fairness, and rule of law. We have since establishment built a forum of great Nigerians and Africans, unanimous in our resolve to stabilize the polity and allow democracy to grow and take root in a united Nigeria and in other African countries, irrespective of our political affiliations. As part of the efforts to unite the political class and other stakeholders and to build a platform that promotes an enduring democracy, stabilize the polity, and promote the enthronement of internal democracy in our political parties, we have instituted, with the collaboration of ECOWAS Commission, United Nations Development Programme, the National Assembly, Nigerian Institute for Legislative Studies, the Nigerian Political Parties, and African Independent Television, the annual National Political Summit. Our ultimate aim is to provide a platform for continuous dialogue on all those things that affect us as a nation, and will therefore be a breeding ground for credible ideas which may be useful to both the legislative, the judicial, and the executive arms of government. This edition of the annual National Political Summit takes place at the International Conference Center and Nikon Luxury Hotels, Abuja, and it will be declared open by the President of Nigeria, President Muhammad Buhari, GCFR. President John Dramani Mahama of Ghana shall be the summit chairman, while President Alassane Ouattara of Ivory Coast is expected to be the special guest of honor at the opening ceremonies. Approval for this summit has been granted to us by the President himself. Professor Amos Sawyer, former President of Interim Government of Liberia, shall deliver the guest lecture. Other speakers drawn from the United Nations, ECOWAS, the United States Senate, development partners, erudite Nigerian scholars, and political stakeholders are expected to speak at the summit. About 3,000 participants, mainly former Nigerian leaders, prominent political stakeholders, leaders of political parties, legislators and leaders at national, state, and local government levels, members of the diplomatic mission and international organizations, religious and community leaders, civil society and community-based organizations, women and youth leaders, etc., are already registering for this summit. Key issues for consideration include A. Strengthening our democratic institutions. B. Promotion of internal democracy. C. Developing positive political culture. D. Developing a distinctive political ideology. E. Post-election confidence building among the political class. F. Good governance and peer review mechanism. G. Gender mainstreaming in governance. H. Political party administration and management. I. Local government administration. J. Election administration management. K. Democracy and national security. And L. Developing national ideologies and national dream, etc. The summit shall be organized in sessions, and a total of 10 sessions have been slated for the event. They include 1. 2 plenary sessions, 2. General session on the summit theme itself, 3. Governance special session on good governance, 4. Special session on women development and gender balance, 5. Special session on youth empowerment, 6. Special session on civil society, faith-based organizations, 7. Special session on political party administration and management, 8. Special session on local government administration, and 9. Special session on election administration and management. Registration for the summit started on 2nd of November 2015, and accreditation of delegates shall take place on the 23rd and 24th January 2016. Only registered and accredited delegates shall attend the summit. Honorable Minister is invited to note that we equally want to use the opening ceremonies of the summit to induct Mr. President, Commander-in-Chief of the Federal Armed Forces, President Muhammadu Buhari, GCFR, as the grand patron of safe democracy across Africa, and to confer on him the Lifetime Democracy Award. This highest honor is in recognition of his belief and confidence in democratic governance, which made him to have contested for the presidency of his country for 4 consecutive times before he could achieve his ambition. We believe that this is a stride only genuine democrats could attempt. The award is therefore to encourage him in his belief in democracy and to urge him to further strive to entrench and promote more democratic tenets and ethos. Now it has pleased God to put him on the summit. We plan also to invite and recognize at the ceremony former Nigerian leaders and democrats and legends of the first and second republics from across Nigeria who are still living, and to formally decorate them as icons of Nigerian democracy. Your Excellency should note that comparatively, most of these people who served Nigeria in the first and second republics did so meritoriously, and some have no befitting homes of their own and may have been forgotten.
National Africa Summit, but we want to pay a visit, led by Honorable Abba. And of course, I had to make room because I knew it was my organs that were coming to pay me a courtesy call. And also, in a very unofficial manner, I have also been very involved in the preparation for this national summit. As the coordinator will tell you, when we came to seek the consent of the president of Ghana. I was a chaperone attached to the Ghanaian president then. And of course, we discussed it also along the way. So, in a way, I would not say that I'm quite unfamiliar with the National Political Summit, but I was never officially contacted. So, actually, the date is, I'm learning about the date just today. But I was aware, I think I took, I took judicial notice of what was going on. I think the Save Democracy Africa and what they stand for should be commended. And I think I want to take the opportunity to thank all of you for coming together to save democracy. And I agree with Alhaji Ibrahim Mantu that the worst form of democracy is to be preferred to the most benevolent military dictatorship. Because military dictatorship will be arbitrary and will account to, they will not account to anybody. It does not matter even if a democracy does not listen, at least you can still vent your views and they will hear. But with the military dictatorship, their mandate they derive from themselves, not from the people. So whichever group comes together to save democracy, I think we should support them with everything we have. And I'm also quite impressed that the membership cuts across political divide. I think that is very, very commendable, and that is the beginning of the healthy politics that can only bring growth. I know that when we sacked Senator Killer from the Senate, he was not bitter. And we had cause also again to interact. Only a few days ago, I picked my phone to call Alhaji Ibrahim Mantu, because he was very kind to send a letter of congratulations to me, and I said, no, I'm not only just going to draft a reply, I must thank you personally. And you, Mrs. Anene, the last time we met, was when you came to condole Chief Jimmy Wobodo on loss of his son. And I remember that day that you were trying to hide many things away from me. I remember that day that you were not quite happy with certain decisions the president and the PDP are taking. And you warned them that that particular decision was going to have consequences. But when you cited me, this one is not one of us, so then you retreated. but I brought up this story to let the world know that even some pillars of PDP at a point in time were quite worried about the way the ship of the nation was moving. They were very concerned, but as loyal party members, they felt they could right the course from within. And I took a very good lesson away that day. Yes, it does not matter, we might belong to political parties, but we're all patriots in our own way. So, and I think this is what has made it easy for my woman leader to sit very comfortably with Chief Mrs. Anene today. And actually, she's sandwiched by two political enemies who are now all working together. And I think this is the beauty of democracy. And I think your the Safe Africa, Safe Democracy Africa, I think, it's not just an association of politicians. I can see organized private labor here, and this shows the inclusiveness of the group. And of course, the organized labor all through our history have played very, very pivotal role in not just democracy. Long before then, even in our fight for our independence, they've always been there. And I don't see the organized labor as partners in progress with government. Their constituency is only different, and their mandate is derived from their constituency. But I know that quite often they've been able to show their patriotic trait. So I'm happy about the mix, we have here today. I have listened with very rapt attention to the address of the Chairman Board of Governors, and I pray very sincerely that you are going to be able to achieve all your laudable goals, because without it, democracy will be impairing. However, I believe that the greatest danger today to democracy is corruption. And this is why I would want the Safe Democracy Group Africa to partner with government. I know that one of the sessions you are holding will be about good governance and the like. Now, but I think we should devote a lot of effort to fighting corruption. See, whether you are talking about First Republic, Second Republic, every republic has been brought down by corruption, pure and simple. The reasons that were advanced by the 1966 group to overthrow the Balewa government was actually corruption. Of course, they cited the issue of the breakdown of law and order. But if you listen to their speech, they said they described politicians as 10%ers. In 1983, again, it was corruption. That was the major reason why the military had to set in. So, until we fight corruption seriously, democracy will be a threat. Just about this time yesterday, we launched our campaign against corruption. The purpose of that campaign was not to vilify anybody, but it was to let people see corruption for what it is. Situate corruption in the right perspective. It is true that I did say there that between 2006 and 2013, that 55 Nigerians embezzled, stole, or misappropriated 1.354 trillion naira. It's a fact. These 55 Nigerians are made up of 15 governors, but 12 about 12 civil servants both at state and public level, about 11 businessmen, about 13 bankers, and I think about 7 ministers. Now, people have come to ask me, what is the source of this information? Why not disclosing their names? And my answer is simple. This information has been in the public domain for a very long time. It's not strange. If anybody just cared, he will find out. These 55 people I'm speaking about are currently facing charges. They are in court. And the amount of money against their names are public record. But that is not the import. That was not the import, really, of that press conference. The import is to see how those 55 people have altered and negatively impacted on all our lives. So I try to explain in that statement. If only 1/3 of those funds could come back to the system, it will build us 600 kilometers of double carriageway. And I was using World Bank figures and costs. In addition, that same money will build us 20,000 units of 2-bedroom flats. It will give us 36 ultra-modern hospitals in addition. It will be enough also to educate 3,954 students from primary school to tertiary level. And we costed this that it will probably cost 25 million to bring a child from primary school to university level or HND level. Which means the act of omission or commission of just 55 people have affected the life expectancy of all of us. It has contributed hugely to the unacceptable maternal infant mortality. It has led to a decay in our infrastructure, as you can see. Now, so the purpose really of the press conference is to let us see corruption for what it is. It's an evil, it's a cancer that if it is not removed, it will kill the patient. Now, I've had a lot of talk about the fight against corruption, being one-sided, being a vendetta. And I've heard also about the issue of human rights. And I tell them, I say, look, all these are not signs of corruption fighting back. Look at the current issue of the $2.1 billion arms scandal. It does not matter whether you're a Muslim, you're a Christian, whether you're PDP or SDP or Labour or APC. There are certain facts that are incontrovertible. One, money was voted to fight terrorists. That money was not spent to fight terrorism. That money was spent to re-elect a president. And in the process, what happened was that soldiers were sent to the war front without ammunition. They were sent to the war front without even boots. It led to the premature death of thousands of our soldiers, created widows and orphans everywhere. Today we have millions of our citizens living in IDP camps. And you are not telling me that it is a vendetta. No, it's not a vendetta. And another thing is that there's nobody who has been accused of sharing this money that has denied it. On the contrary, they've been giving us very ridiculous, excuses. One said he took 4.3 billion naira for spiritual purposes. Another said he actually gave somebody 13 billion naira to buy land for the Maritime University. Another one said he took 2.1 billion naira for publicity. Nobody that was giving the money has come to say, no, we didn't take the money. At the best, they say, we never knew the source of the money. And we are now saying that we shall allow them to go scot-free. We are now accusing the government of, vendetta. And you see, I was at the leadership house newspaper, with my men today, and the lady there raised a very, very troubling issue. He said, what is becoming of our values? That in days past, the father who admonished his son or daughter, don't steal. But today, what do we have? We have father and son being charged together for corruption, for stealing. Now you see, what lesson are we? What lesson are we telling our people, our children? And this is why I think you need to come in and assist us. We need institutional destruction of our institutions to fight corruption. Today, there are two sets of laws now, apparently. One set of law for the less privileged, and one set of law for the high profile. Because our investigations have shown that while it takes between 34 days and 10 years to convict a low-profile accused person for corruption, it takes between 7 years and infinity to convict a high-profile accused person. This is the only part of the world I know that an accused person would not only seek for bail, will be granted bail, which is natural, we agree. But the moment he's granted bail, the next thing is that he goes to file an application for the release of his international passport. That passport will be released to him. Then he will now go back to the same court, but they should allow him to travel abroad. And some of them will say, no, I'm not really traveling abroad. You must release my passport because I have to perform a religious pilgrimage. Which God are they going to worship? You see, we must all look at these things and ask ourselves. We talk about human rights, and ask them, is the human right of 55 people more important than the human right of 170 million Nigerians? If 55 people can put all of us in this mess, is the purpose of justice being served? So all of us, and we need to look at this, issue from a non-partisan perspective. And that's why I'm happy that I'm talking to an extremely partisan, politicized group who will see that no matter what they do, if corruption is not tamed, there will be no democracy. So please, I'm using this opportunity once again to appeal to you. Our fight against corruption, there's no alternative if we want to survive as a country. And we should let our people know what corruption has cost Nigeria. I've listened to your request, and I would of course definitely consult with my directors and the DGs of the various corporations and ask them what is normal procedure, and if necessary, can we ask for a case to be made. But I think if the Mr. President is coming to address and declare it open, automatically you can be guaranteed coverage of all the federal government-owned media. The tricky areas will be the areas of advertisement, announcements, and I think we would technically try and make a case for you with NTA and FRCN as a public service, because you're also rendering public service. I hope I will not be overruled by them. But I will definitely, immediately you leave here, I will call both the NTA DG, the FRCN DG, and also Vaughan. And of course I'll get advice from Mr. Dama. How can we make a case for this particular issue. So once again, it's my pleasure to welcome you, and I identify with the very laudable objectives of the group, and I thank you, sir, for the very kind words you said about me. I'm very grateful. But woman leader, since it take away with you, what has been happening? Don't let a lot.
That when you go, you write